and welcome to another episode of Rift News, the show that got 2 episodes in 2 weeks. Well, that's unusual. That's because while last time we got a lot of news surrounding Wild Rift, this time around Riot dropped the ball on TFT Reckoning, so we'll spend the majority of our time there. But that doesn't mean that we still don't have news about the other games as well. So as always, let's start with what is happening in League of Legends. On live servers, the patch 11.8 is being deployed, which means that very soon not only will we see Gwen, but this patch will also include her Space Groove skin and the new token reward. Also, don't forget that later on we will also get the 5 new skins, Black Frost Scion and Vel'Koz, who, as we mentioned last time, is actually a skin that is based on the lore, and the 3 Dragon Slayer skins, for Galio, Gale and Twitch. But besides this, Riot is pushing one new thing onto PBE, and those are the Kog'Maw updates. You see, with what is happening in the world, it is understandable that we will only get one VGU, and that is Mundo. But that's not stopping Riot from using smaller updates to still update older champions. Kog'Maw is a great example. When it comes to his abilities, they are all getting updated. His auto attacks now finally have that gooey splash effect. His Q looks like a proper poison missile. W actually makes him look dangerous. Even though more often than not, he's still Kog'Maw, he's not that dangerous. But it looks cool. And his E looks like a proper corroding pool. Although the fade effect is still slow, so I don't think the clarity changed that much. Although the clarity definitely did change on his ultimate. That is way easier to see now, and you can properly see its range as well. But of course, this means that all of his skins got updated as well. At least when it comes to the spell effects. Because when it comes to Kog'Maw's model, while the skins are fine, the base skin is still quite awful. And that's why Riot is changing it as well. And I have to say, this is a brilliant change. You can see that they basically changed Kog'Maw's skin to match his splash art. You can even see the tiny hint of yellow at the end of his teeth, which is directly reflected in the splash art. And I absolutely love this. This alone makes Kog'Maw not look like something from 2004. Even though, unfortunately, he will still have his old animations. So at the end of the day, he will look a lot cooler, but it's nowhere near a proper VGU. Also, with yesterday's PBE, the DWG skins got their models. And here all of them look great. But I still need to point out that every single player made the effort to make a funny signature, just because they knew it would appear that way in the game. More importantly though, the new Conqueror skin arrived as well. And this time it is Jax. And you may notice that it is using a different color palette from all the previous Conqueror skins. It seems like Riot is trying to change things up. And yeah, I agree, it is a nice change. Though, even this skin couldn't avoid a prestige version. Before we leave League, we could also mention one last thing. All the shredding abilities got unified icons. You will now see a little shield, or the blue circle, or both, if the target has shredded armor, magic resistance, or both. Now for now, that is it for League. So, let's now have a look at the other games. While the players of Legends of Runeterra are still enjoying the newly updated labs, they are also getting ready for the first anniversary of Legends of Runeterra. I can't believe it has already been a year of me reacting to their cards. Anyway, during this event you can get 2 new emotes of Garen and Katarina, a new card back, and a new Guardian. You unlock these rewards for every day you log in during the anniversary. In Wild Rift we got more info on the next event. The Stargazer event is going live tomorrow, on April the 15th, and it will run for a little bit less than 2 weeks, until April the 27th. So, as you can tell, it is a quite short event. During this, every day everyone will unlock 2 new missions. Though if you don't complete them that way, don't worry, they will be saved for later. So if you don't play for 3 days, on the 4th day you can technically complete 8 missions at once. Though you have to complete them in the order in which they were released. Regardless, every day one mission will give you 10 XP and the other mission will give you 15 XP. And these special experience points will count towards this event specifically. And here are the rewards for it. For 25 XP we get the Stargazer Endeavor icon. For 60 XP we get the Stargazer Pengu emote. For 95 XP we get 1250 blue essence. For 140 XP, you can choose if you want a pose for a Stargazer skin, or if you want 200 Poro coins instead, which is equivalent to 1 random free cosmetic item. This is a great change from the previous event, because in the past you could only get the pose. Now you can decide if you want the Poro coins instead. I love this. For 175 XP you get another 1250 blue essence, then for 250 XP you get the recall for free, and for 275 you get the upgraded icon. To be honest, the recall is going to be what everyone will be aiming for, since it is a highly valuable free cosmetic. I can tell you right now, everyone loves that. Now besides this, as I predicted in the last video, since the Ishtali background is being added into the game, some of the Ishtali related champions will get this background now. I am mainly looking at you, Malphite. But that is it for Wild Rift as well. And this takes us to the main course of this video, TFT Reckoning. You see, even though Riot didn't reveal too much themselves, they gave some press materials to some websites. So now, not only do we know about all of the trades that are coming, not just the ones in the official post, but we also know about all the new little legends and the new boards. So, let's have a look at all of that. First of all, even though as I'm recording this we didn't get the release date yet, the current TFT pass will be going for 2 more weeks. And since there is usually a 1-week gap between events, I would say that TFT Reckoning might be coming around the 27th, right as the Stargazer event is going to end in Wild Rift. But regardless, let's first go through Riot's official TFT post. At the start there, they revealed the new Reckoning mechanic. This one is shadow items. You see, every time you get an item, either from a carousel or a new special item shop, there will be a chance that one of the item components will be corrupted. These are the shadow items. And the special thing about them is that when you use this corrupted component to make a complete item, that complete item will have special abilities. And they always just give you more stats at the cost of something else. Here Riot gave us 3 examples. First, there is Zeke's Herald. The normal item gives attack speed to the 2 units on either side of the one who's carrying it. However, if you make Zeke's Evil Herald, that item will now drain the attack speed from the units on either side of it. So you will probably put it on a carry and put 2 tanks right next to them. Because remember, if you decide to drain attack speed from a mage, that mage will not be able to get mana. So it will be interesting to see how this plays out. The second example is Rabadon's Death Cap. The evil version of it will give you a lot more ability power at the cost of some of your health. Right now, I believe the numbers are that you get 80% extra ability power at the cost of something like 15% of your health, which is really not as dangerous as I thought it would be. I was expecting something like double your ability power at the cost of half of your health. That would be a lot more interesting to see, though with something like Guardian Angel, a guaranteed cast would win you the game. So we'll have to see how this turns out on PvE. Lastly, there is Jinsu's Evil Rageblade. Above the normal version, the Evil Rageblade gives you even more attack speed, but every attack drains a percentage of your maximum health. On PvE, every attack drains 8% of your maximum health, which theoretically means that the wielder is only able to attack 11 or 12 times. So if you want to properly utilize it, you will need Bloodthirster to back it up. Because remember, you can still heal that damage back. This item would be a lot more interesting if it actually prevented healing. But again, that would be probably broken. Now, after these items, Riot also showed us some of the possible new compositions. So let's have a look at what traits they revealed. First, there are the Forgotten units. These spike at 3, 6 or 9 units. And they behave exactly like the cybernetic units which we have had before, but these only get the special stats from shadow items. They don't activate their traits from normal items. On top of that, when a Forgotten unit wields a shadow item, they only gain damage, by which I mean both ability power and attack damage. They don't gain health like the old cybernetics used to. And this is where we have Draven, which makes me comfortable in saying that I believe Draven is going to be a heavy carry. Since he's going to scale from the shadow items, if you give him the evil Jinsu's Rageblade with Rapid Fire and with Bloodthirster, I'm telling you, Draven is going to be the early meta. There is no way around it. Then the next trait are the Hellion, or Hellion. I actually had no idea what this word was, but Twitch chat told me it is something like Yordles, so I'll believe them. Anyway, the Hellion trait scales at 3, 5 and 7. And the special ability is that when a Hylian unit dies, it will spawn a 1-star copy of it with no items. This happens once to every Hylian unit. So if you get a team of 7 Hylians, you'll have an awesome popcorn party. Then there is Nightbringer. This one is for 2, 4, 6 or 8 units. And every time a Nightbringer goes below 50% health, they get a shield and bonus damage. The counterpart to that are supposed to be the Dawnbringers. These also activate at 2, 4, 6 and 8, and when these drop below 50% health, they rapidly start healing back up, and when this happens, they all gain attack damage. So you can see that the Dawnbringers and Nightbringers feel pretty similar. Also note that as of right now, we are not sure if this means that when every single unit drops below 50% health, that's when the bonus gets activated, or if this works like with cultists, where the entire team needs to drop below 50%. Because when this happens, everyone gets the damage, so I would say they mean when the full team drops below 50%. Then Riot mentions the new Kayle. Every time her mana fills, the new Kayle will now ascend. On her 3rd ascension, she will get 1 second immunity, and that immunity will also activate after every 7th attack. So she will definitely be your late game ramping up carry. Then they also mentioned Teemo. The interesting thing about Teemo is that he will be a legendary unit, so it will be almost impossible to find him early on. But instead of gold, he will cost you 6 health. However, you can also sell him back for 5 gold. So when you find him, you can essentially trade health for gold. And when it comes to what he does, he basically has his old mushrooms. Though he doesn't blind people anymore, he just reduces their attack speed. The next trait is Cavalier. These units quickly dash forward and they get increased damage reduction for the first 4 seconds of the combat. Then there is Coven. This one only has 3 units, but their special ability is quite awesome. When you put the Coven units in a triangle, the unit that will be in the middle of them becomes their leader, and this can be any unit which you put there. That Coven leader will get 50% bonus health, and every time the other worshippers cast their abilities, a fraction of that mana will go to the leader. Next there is Ironclad, which only has 3 units, and it's pretty much your vanguard, you gain bonus armor. However, it works more like Mystic, where instead of an entire army of vanguards, you only have 3. So I'm curious to see how this new approach to defensive traits works out in the game. And lastly, there is Revenant. Revenant also only has 3 units, and when you activate either 2 or 3, when the Revenant units die, they get resurrected, and during that stage they take and deal increased damage. Now, while this is all the official reveals, Mobalytics actually got together a proper cheat sheet, so let's have a look at what they found. We will also get Abominations. This will spawn an undead monstrosity after 3 of your units die. Then there is Draconic. This is basically your fortune. At the end of a round you get a Draconic egg, and after 3 rounds these eggs hatch. And after they hatch they give you rare loot. Then there is Dragon Slayer. Dragon Slayers get bonus damage every time an allied Dragon Slayer kills a unit. Then there is Legendary Eternal, which is Kindred, and their ability is that you can deploy the Wolf and the Lamb separately as 2 units. Then there are Redeemed. These will get resistances and ability power, and when they die, their bonuses get split among the rest. Then there are Verdant Champions who are immune to ground control for the first 3 seconds. Assassins who still do the same thing. Brawlers who also do the same thing. Caretaker Heimerdinger, who basically deploys a turret. The God Kings, which activate if you only have 1 God King active. This basically gives them bonus damage against very specific traits. Then there are Invokers who get bonus mana from attacks. Knights who block damage. Legionnaires who get attack speed after casting spells. Mystics who still work the same way. Rangers who work like the original Rangers in set 1. Renewers who passively regenerate a percentage of their health. Skirmishers who are basically keepers. And Spellweavers who get magic damage every time someone casts an ability. That's all the traits that we know about. However, although that is it for gameplay, we still have the cosmetics to talk about. First of all, let's have a look at the little legends. The first of the 3 is Dowsy. This is a seal that looks like one of the Marai. You know, Nami's people. It might also be hinting at that because Dowsy does have a koi skin, which is what Nami has. She also has a sweet tooth, then a rose gold, then a fire version, and lastly a cow version, which has a hat made of milk, and she can spawn cookies. The second one is Fenroar. a wolf which looks like the old ghost wolf. Also, it is definitely the one which we have in League, although this one only has one head. The normal version has their color palette. Then there is a Shreeman version, which unfortunately does not have a sun disk. It is still just a sandy moon. Then there is an adventuring one with a tennis ball, more of a mystic one, a fire-based one, and lastly a Kanmei version, which looks like one of the Spirit Blossomy spirits. And lastly there is Nimblefoot, which is a rogue rat. Theoretically, since some little legends are usually themed after new champions, there is the teeny tiny chance that this little legend might be referencing the new upcoming Yordle, though the chances of that are really small. Either way, there is the normal color, there is the Kinko Ninja color theme, there is the Leaf color palette, a Mystic one, a Fire-based one, and the Shadow Islesy one. Besides these 3 paid ones, there is also the Evil Pengu, which will highly likely be from the pass. Notice that this looks different from the Datamined one, which means that they actually updated him, unless they plan to use the old one somewhere as well. Regardless, it is a mix of Viego and really just Viego. And lastly, there will also be the free little legend, which is Evil Sprite. Also, on PBE, 3 new beach chunks appeared out of nowhere as well. But besides the little legends, we also have the new arenas. There will be a total of 5 with 3 free ones, which we have seen in the previous images, and 2 paid ones. This will be the Splash Party arena, where you can notice Leona's shield, a Scuttle Crab, a small sun disk, and Ramesses flip-flops. And then there is the Count Spatula arena, and this one is suspicious. Because yes, you can see that they are worshipping a spatula, that's why it is Count Spatula. And you can see that you will have minions cheering for you. Then there is a worshipping painting of the Pengu. But more importantly, besides the bats, there is Mordekaiser's Pentakill guitar, and there is a motorbike. Theoretically, if we combine these two, this may be teasing the new Pentakill song that's still being worked on. I mean, Pentakill recently had a performance, and there they played a song which I did not recognize. Maybe someone can correct me on that. But I think they played an entirely new song. If that's the case, some people speculate that this may be teasing Viego getting a Pentakill skin. Which honestly, I do believe can be possible, though I think that that would still be his release skin. That motorbike threw me off a little bit, because it almost seems like it was modeled for something else, and then it was put here. It almost looks like an asset which would be used for someone's skin. So let's say if Viego did get a Pentakill skin, during his recall he would jump on this motorbike and then he would ride off. That's the kind of asset this looks like. Regardless, this is still an awesome arena, but people wonder if this may be teasing new Pentakill. Lastly, to close this off, there are the new booms. There are the Light Feathers, the Demonic Crows, Awesome Runes, and Rainbow, which everyone will use, forget the others. Now, because the PBE launched yesterday, we did already get a first look at what the new carousel will look like, and we already saw the rewards from the pass. Here, on top of the maps and the booms, we got 2 new emotes as well, one of which will make a certain person very happy. But that is it for this episode of Rift News. It was mainly based on TFT, and that's because, yeah, we got a lot of new info, with TFT Reckoning being right behind the corner. I just really hope that TFT Reckoning will be released right after the Wild Rift event ends. I'm already spending 1 hour in my bed with phone in front of my face before I go to sleep, right? Please, just let me sleep.